Hello, hello. We are live on YouTube. Welcome everybody to the Cellframe Social YouTube. This is the Financial Tides broadcast. Trying it out on YouTube this week. Gonna bring you guys all the hottest news from the internet, which this week is of course quantum computing and crypto related. So Cellframe is a bit of the belle of the ball, I would say, this week on the crypto Twitter. There was even a tiny little dip, the quantum dip, I would call it. Um, Somebody on crypto Twitter the other day was posting, they said, crypto is 80% marketing and 20% technology. Well, here at Cellframe, we hope that's not true because really our biggest proposition is the technology. You know, it's not all about hype, people. The crypto token that you select for yourself to champion, you know, you should really take a look at the technology, not just the hype. But you know, today we're thinking about hype. What do we call this quantum dip? I was thinking maybe it should be called the quantum quake. All right, let's see how things are going here. I want every people to come in, join the chat. Let me know what's up. What's going on out there, people? Welcome to the Financial Tides. Got my Cellframe jacket on today. Quantum is coming, my friends. Quantum is coming. We have seen it blow up on the internet this week. We're going to talk about that. And like usual, we will be delving into the news in the mainstream media as it relates to crypto and the blockchain space. So let's dive into some stuff that I've dug up for you guys here. Here we go. This works. So Elon keeps posting, you are the media now. So that's great. I agree with that. But you know, here at Financial Tides, when everyone else zigs, we zag. And just a little brief shout out here to the Financial Times again in this physical manifestation. I haven't been online for a while, but this was a big one. Trump is back. We've had the Trump bounce in crypto. Discussed that last time I was on X Spaces. Here we go again. Bitcoin hits 80,000, front page, baby. And of course, we all know Bitcoin has also hit 100,000. And that's really got the mainstream world talking about cryptocurrency in a big way. And of course, it all plays out on X first. So here's what's been going on. Just going to do a little brief breakdown here, some live Twitter scrolling. Here's Cellframe Social behind the scenes, baby. So I've been bookmarking how this whole saga played out. And of course, it all started with a tweet from the CEO of Google. About the release of Willow. Where's our Willow tweet here? There we go. Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google, put out his tweet that Google is shipping a chip which can do in 5 minutes what a supercomputer can do in 10 septillion years, far below the age of the universe. And then we had a whole swath of people saying, well, Bitcoin is dead, fun while it lasted, all your passwords too. So of course, the Cellframe army got engaged in this. That's a great video, Wallfish, AI-enabled Wallfish. This is some hardware technology that I think Cellframe should definitely be getting into. Let's see. All right, we got a couple people here giving me the thumbs up in the stream. Excellent. All right, so Sundar let out this bit of news. Of course, it's noteworthy that all these news are coming out on Twitter now. So when Google ships something, they just make a tweet about it, a zeet, if you will. So that came out, and then the discussion started. Is it really a threat? Is quantum really a threat to blockchain? And when I started, getting in on this, when I got on Twitter and saw that this was all happening, I was really excited. Of course, we got to start talking about the quantum threat. It's in the news, but I didn't realize that actually caused a dip in Bitcoin price itself, and actually a huge, relatively large mini crash across the crypto markets. And I don't know if it's entirely related to the quantum story. I think there were some people that were saying, well, it's just a shakeout after the big rise, the Trump bump. We have the Trump bump and the quantum quake, people. This is what's been going on the last couple of weeks in the crypto markets. Trump bump, quantum quake. So here we go. Is Bitcoin dead? And then the discussion starts. There are people, and one thing that happened is that people who saw that the price was falling started going out there and really trying to talk their bag and saying, no, 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 crypto is not a threat. Quantum is not a threat to crypto. It's not a threat to Bitcoin. It's going to be 20 years. But this puts them in a strange situation because, in fact, quantum is a very real threat. Okay, you can claim that it's going to be a few years off. You can claim that it's going to be decades off. But to be out there and saying it's not a threat puts you in a strange situation. This was a post that got a lot of views last week. God save the coin. Right when Bitcoin hit 100,000, everybody was celebrating. And here in this video, it had all these things that people were using to neg Bitcoin. Aha, quantum computers. Bitcoin is too slow. Bitcoin is just for speculation. And so all these things that were said against Bitcoin in the past are listed in this video, but the one that actually hasn't really been answered yet is the quantum question. Bitcoin is too slow. Quantum computers. Okay, let's pause there. What about quantum computers? What is Bitcoin's answer? And the funny thing is that a lot of the people who went on Twitter trying to protect Bitcoin from this little dip, trying to protect their bags, they didn't really have a good answer. They were saying, well, it's really not a question, it's really not a big deal, and we will fix it soon. Right? Not a very strong position to be defending your technology, saying, well, we will fix it soon, it's not a big deal yet. Well, okay, let's, when you get into nitty gritty, right? Here, some people came in to counter those people, right? So here, this crypto projection fella says, you can't just fork the BTC chain and fix this problem that easy. It would require everyone who owns BTC to send money from their old insecure wallet to the new one. Good luck getting that process to roll smoothly. Satoshi's coins would be liquidated, eroding trust in the network. So this is something that Dmitry, the CEO of Cellframe, and I have been trying to point out for a while now. The people who are saying, this kind of gets to the core of, can we easily transition Bitcoin to post-quantum encryption? Well, you can do, if you're able to do a hard fork, which Bitcoin has done before, great. You do a hard fork to a new type of encryption. But here we go. This is what something that Dmitry has been saying. There's going to be a process of de-anonymization that happens when you have to turn in your old private key and swap it for a new one. You'll actually have to send money from one to the other. And since Satoshi apparently owns all these Bitcoins and hasn't touched them, we have all these things that won't migrate. So this is what this person is saying. That even if you manage to get everyone in the Bitcoin network to migrate over, which is going to be quite difficult, and will be a tax liability issue apparently, because that will be a taxable moment, that movement from one wallet to the other. And besides that, Satoshi's tokens will be left behind, and anyone else who doesn't migrate. So that will erode some trust in the Bitcoin network. So we're going back and forth here about how easy is it to, how much of a threat is quantum, and how easy is it to protect it, to protect Bitcoin. We know it's going to take a hard fork, but what is it going to take beyond that? Let's see, do I get check my chat here? People are saying hi, hello everyone who's in the chat. All right, so Bitcoin is dead, and then we have, Community Notes weighs in. It says, post-out quantum algorithms will likely be integrated into Bitcoin's protocol before quantum computers pose a legitimate threat. Okay, great. Good luck with that. I mean that sincerely. I hope the Bitcoin community is able to pull that off, and I'm sure they will. But however, as you build going forward, if you're a company or a team or an individual looking to build a blockchain tool right now, you may want to look at something that's already quantum protected, like Cellframe, for example. Let's see what else people are saying. This guy says no. He checks the charts. The quantum chip created the dip. It's the chip dip. That's what we'll call it. Okay, marketing, baby. The great chip dip of 2024. We have seen it, folks. All right, this is something different. Doge. I just like this picture. I think Grok is doing a great job making memes. One thing that this image reminds me of is about meme coins. People are saying, oh, Doge is going to make it big because Elon is behind it. But you know what? When was the last time you actually saw someone make a Doge meme? Memes are ephemeral. This is one of the problems with betting or tribalism. Let me go on a little bit of a tangent here while we look at these fine dogs. So one of the signals of the bump bounce, as I was saying last week on Twitter, there were a lot of things were waiting, as was revealed by the Mark Andreessen interview with Joe Rogan. A lot of things in crypto are really opening up right now because we didn't know to what extent the Biden administration had been threatening to sue, really oppressing crypto founders, debanking them, and making it very difficult for other companies to partner with them, right? Or making a very, very scary atmosphere for other big companies to come in and join back in the blockchain space, right? So the major cooling off in blockchain that happened, which coincided with the rise of AI hype, that actually was caused partially by this, or largely by this extremely scary and threatening attitude of the U.S. government towards crypto. So, that includes jailing CZ Binance, etc. So, right. So all this stuff was going on, and now things are booming. And one of I think a lot of money that has been waiting in the wings to get into blockchain now has permission to do so, right? So I think that counts for investors in Silicon Valley, VCs. That also counts money managers, right? People are now more free to say, hey, get this Bitcoin into your portfolio. We're going to see that when we look at some Financial Times stuff later in this episode. So all this money is coming in. And like I said, it's not just the investment, it's also the partnership. So before the kind of crypto winter, there was all this talk about, all these big companies getting into NFTs. You had crypto going mainstream, right? You had the Super Bowl ads. Some of that was driven by FTX and fraudulent monies, but not just FTX. Crypto.com, they're naming stadiums in America after it. Big corporations were trying to get into the NFT game, and that all cooled off. So now you see things coming in. So this is just another tangent to say, I was listening to my favorite sports broadcast. It's a humor sports show called Pardon My Take, and they had an ad read. It's a big platform for Kraken, the centralized exchange. And it said, and that to me was a great sign. We're coming back to life in the kind of mainstream crypto markets. We're coming back to seeing these big ad spends by crypto companies to try to get into that mainstream market. Um, but one thing that was funny on this ad was that since it's a sports show, the ad read was like this. They said, uh, crypto is kind of like sports. You pick your favorite team and you stick with it. Well, somewhat yes. I think that is a very interesting thing about crypto markets is that I always talk about how Cellframe is kind of like the Google of search engines. There's already a dominant set of big companies doing search when Google came in with better technology and were able to take a huge amount of that market. But search doesn't have that community aspect to it, right? So right now you have the Solana people, you have obviously Bitcoin maxis, you have the Ethereum maxis, everyone, and even much smaller coins. Also shout out to Cellframe community, of course, and we need that loyalty and that kind of fan aspect. On the other hand, people should look at the technology more. It's really not just about how big the community is, because the community can be built on hype. Ultimately, if this is gonna be a serious business, which it obviously is, the technology that gets us to that next level needs to be the best technology. It can't just be the one with the best memes. So this dog is very cute. I like this image a lot, but let's get beyond the dog. Okay, hashtag beyond the dog. There we go. All right. So yeah, just another funny part here in a footnote or a kind of a last throwaway line in its press release on the Willow chip. They said quantum computation occurs in many parallel universes in line with the idea that we live in a multiverse. Okay, so I kind of went down this rabbit hole a little bit also. There's physicists with this release. Didn't just cause a dip in crypto and a rise in Cellframe price. It also caused like a big debate among theoretical physicists about the multiverse, and it is kind of amazing to be to be following and working with the Cellframe development and talking about this quantum computing thing, because actually it's a I'll try to get into more of this maybe next week and lay it out a little bit more, go back into the physics aspect of it. But it is crazy that quantum computers are actually proving certain things about physics and the world that we don't really have a good theoretical model for. Uh, so it's quantum computers are actually ahead of quantum physicists themselves. Like, people weren't really expecting them to work. And the fact that they do work says something about our universe. It says that it's non-Newtonian, right? We don't know if it's a multiverse. Okay. I don't know if people are simulation theorists out there. It's all a little weird to me. I think it's like, anyway, but I would like to get into it more. So are we living in a multiverse? We'll leave that as a footnote to the more important things, Cellframe Bitcoin. Here's the that started it all. Elon Musk saying yeah to quantum computing. He's the meme king, so a yeah from Elon is big. Come on, Elon. Give me a yeah on one of the Cellframe social tweets. Just a yeah, that's all I need. All right, so then we had in the when the Willow story dropped and Musk commented on it, we had people coming in from both sides. People coming in trying to be logical, people coming in uh, trying to be hyperbolic. But here we have kind of some details about there's two different algorithms, a hashing algorithm and the digital signature algorithm. This is the ECDSA, turns out to be the one that's most vulnerable in terms of breaking Bitcoin. So if you guys want to get into this more, Ben Sigmund is the place to look at. So here, another guy talking about ECDSA. so people are saying that actually uh, the SHA is going to be very hard to crack for quantum computers, even for quantum computers, whereas the ECDSA won't. So this guy says ECDSA will soon be vulnerable, and Bitcoin can switch instantly because each person has a vulnerable address, must individually transfer their coins. That's going to take years. So this is again about some people are saying hard fork. It's easy to fix Bitcoin. We do a hard fork, blah, blah, blah. Not so easy because the private key will have to be swapped. It's not so easy. Here's another fella who's saying it's not a threat. Sharing for you, very condescending little, sorry. Sharing for you, but please, it's a non-issue and this isn't important or anywhere feasible for decades. So just to address, we'll leave this here for a minute. How are you, Mr. Gleb? Let's go Cellframe. I'm doing great, people. I'm doing great. Like I said, Cellframe is the star of the show on Twitter right now. Here, I think Dmitry got in on the game saying, well, actually, Cellframe devs are not sweaty. They're sitting pretty. Yeah, so ECDSA level, so it's going to take years. Okay, so there's people who have tried to deal with this issue of how many years will it take at the current rate of growth, projecting to a computer with, so say you do need maybe thousands or a million actual qubits to hack the strongest encryption on Bitcoin. But projections of the growth of quantum computing can't be trusted, okay? Because first of all, nobody thought that we would have a quantum chip in 2024. That was crazy. If you think about 5 years ago, so people now are talking about decade time frame. Oh, we have decades to fix Bitcoin. Well, you know, 7 years ago, when Dmitry and the founders were trying to shop around Cellframe and the idea that they were going to make a quantum-proof blockchain, people thought they were crazy. So 7 years ago, people didn't even think that quantum computing was real, right? Now, 7 years later, in the past 2 years, we've had amazing developments, and the timeline keeps getting shorter. So if you're still looking at the same kind of timeline based on previous iterations of chip development, right? There's that famous graph where chip CPU speed is going up exponentially, right? So if you take the exponent line on the left side and timeline on the right side, it's like a straight line, but really it's a asymptotic, elliptical exponential line. But even that exponential line isn't really trustworthy with quantum because things are developing at a much higher speed right now than we ever thought possible. So, yes, if you're still looking at a timeline of decades and you're expecting the quantum process, innovation process to be taking place at a certain rate, that's all going out the window. Every day there's new headlines about innovations in correction and stuff, error correction. And one thing that people have been saying is that, well, Google released this news, but this happens every year. Okay, every year. Don't worry. You shouldn't worry about blockchain and quantum because every year this happens. Somebody releases new innovation, but that shouldn't make you less worried about it. That should make you more worried because there's news coming in, new information is coming in to shorten that quantum timeline. I want to look at some people who have been talking more specifically about the timeline. And this is great. People who have not heard of the quantum issue are coming into the chats now saying, well, Bitcoin is going to be hacked. Who's making quantum coin? Somebody should have thought to do that a few years ago. Cellframe. Okay, yeah, Bitcoin. So here's we got people coming in. So this is another argument that I want to address besides the timeline thing. Let's go to maybe the timeline issue real quick, and then I'll go back. So yeah, so this person is saying 2029. So this is a person who is saying that it is a great danger, and they have made a graphic here that says, if you look at the kind of a logical progression of qubit development, he's saying 2029 would be a timeline for error-corrected quantum computer that could hack Bitcoin. Very, that seems to be a reasonable timeline. Some people are saying decades, but like I said, again, that decades thing is based on previous information before we've had much more innovation. This is another thing that I wanted to address here. We tweeted it from the Cellframe social account. This guy's saying, well, if quantum hackers are out there, they're not going to attack Bitcoin. They're going to go after a much larger pool of money, which is in bank accounts, right? So I keep a large part of cash in my bank account. No way quantum computer will be able to hack that. And so a lot of people were out there saying, well, why would anyone want to hack Bitcoin when there's all the sea of regular money out there? But what is the whole thing with fiat currency, right? It's policed and generally controlled by national governments. So if whatever bank you choose to hack as a hacker, you're in that country, you're going to have to make a bank transfer. That bank transfer is extremely, Bitcoin is traceable, but it's also sovereign. It can't be reversed, right? So if you think about actions that governments and police can take against stolen money, right? I had my debit card stolen. Someone used it for a purchase. That purchase was reversed. Obviously, the bank ate the money in that case. But if you're talking about huge transfers, criminal transfers of money, police can make and banks can work together to make that money return or disappear or whatever. And how do you make it cross national boundaries? You have to move money from a bank account into another bank. You have to use systems that are controlled. So crypto would be an extremely, extremely tempting asset to steal. Crypto would be, it doesn't have to be the biggest sum of money out there. It would be the most tempting thing for, okay, quantum as a service market. Go back to here a little bit. Well, quantum Warburn says the quantum as a service market will be huge. Trying to figure out my stream technology here. All right, we're gonna go back to the chat a little later on. Thank you for everyone who is chiming into the chat. Okay, so like I said, Bitcoin and crypto will be a very tempting and probably the most tempting asset for a hacker to steal, given the chance. All right. This is just a video of Taliban members who trade meme coins for your entertainment. Again, so this is the same argument here from Mert. If quantum breaks encryption, magical intermoney would be the least of your worries. Well, some people respond to that saying, well, no, actually, my magic internet money is a big worry of mine. And then again, like I said, yeah, stealing from a bank is going to be much more of a hassle than just taking a bunch of Bitcoin. All right, so this is some stuff I'm going to get into later on. Let's see what else. So yeah, it was amazing that there was this whole, I didn't realize there was a dip happening. I thought there was just quantum discourse going on. And it was having a good time. Then I was like, oh my gosh, this quantum thing actually caused a dip. So crazy. The quantum quake. The chip dip. The quantum chip dip of 2024. So yeah, here's like a lot of people like who are coming in from like a big picture commentator perspective. Is blockchain dead? No. We can always add more bits and upgrade the protocol. Well, things are a little bit more complicated when you get into it. Shout out to IBCIG for a nice thread on Cell. So yeah, and another aspect of people won't steal from banks, right? The other thing this guy was saying, well, the people will probably try to steal nuclear codes, right? But those systems are actually will be easier to upgrade than decentralized systems. So here, this guy Bob Krypton is saying the rest of Web 2 has already started transitioning to quantum resistance. Blockchains that are decentralized by nature will have the hardest time to adapt. So that's why people are worried about it for crypto, especially guys. It's not so simple to just swap it over as with a centralized system. And this guy says, actually, this dev says Solana literally can't function with PQ algos, too big. Okay, so this is a key part of people who are interested in Cellframe and what Cellframe's value proposition is and why it was built the way it was built. Cellframe was built with in this pure C code, extremely efficient, and it's designed so that it can deal with these large PQ algos, post-quantum encryption algorithms. They're just the hash sizes are way larger, orders of magnitude bigger than the classical one. And so this guy's saying that other blockchains literally just can't function when you change that equation, right? That scalability. So they've solved the so-called. That's why I sometimes refer to Cellframe as a fourth generation blockchain, is that third generation blockchains may have solved for scalability, but they didn't solve for scalability in the post-quantum realm. Right. So if we're living in a post-quantum world, the scalability issue is different. So that's why Cellframe architecture is built with extremely aggressive dedication to efficiency and performance. Because something like Solana literally can't function with PQ algos. The algos are too big. Interesting here, just a little factoid about how cracking Bitcoin is actually a benchmark for people who are studying quantum computers. This guy says, uh-oh, they better not take my Fortnite skins. Well, folks, they can. But actually, like I said, centralized systems may be able to do that quicker. So yeah, that's what this guy's saying here. Nuclear codes of bank accounts are easily quantum proofed. So is BTC if you can get consensus. This guy is great. Goku, yes. Even if quantum computing threatens encryption, our power comes from within. The strength of our community and determination can overcome any challenge. So yeah, I like to see that guy. You can't overcome quantum hack just with your community, guys. You actually have to make the technology work. This is an interesting question from Red. A major question is, what will break encryption first, AI or quantum computing? So we haven't gotten into that so much yet, but is there a chance that some kind of new encryption breaking software can emerge in a non-quantum sphere with the help of AI? There is a chance for that. And this is why you have to have your blockchain nimble and agile and ready to take on different challenges and to implement different encryption methods on the fly, like Cellframe is designed to do. With Bitcoin, say you do a hard fork to a new algorithm, and then boom, new tech, whether it's AI or quantum, comes out, kills that algorithm, can crack that algorithm. Now you're going to have to do a hard fork again. So this is why with Cellframe, with fourth generation blockchain, we're building on the fly changes in blockchain, in encryption type. Stay ahead of the game. Here's a funny comment. I thought 2FA is still here, like, but you can use two-factor authorization to protect things that can be hacked or cracked, but you can't use 2FA for everything. And for example, one interesting topic that's popped up in here is the question of AI and crypto. So this guy's skeptic saying, why do people keep saying that crypto and AI are interlinked? And why is it always the crypto people who say this and never the AI people? Okay. And one good answer to this is people can actually more intuitively understand AI rather than crypto, but that's okay. We have the galaxy brain here. What are we thinking? So why is AI, what was I getting at here? Why is AI and crypto interlinked? Well, so the internet, right, with the proliferation of AI generative technology, authentication will be much more important. All right, so this is something that people have said, like, we need the blockchain to kind of combat the new AI world. This is something that Mark Andreessen mentioned in his talk as well. What we need, if you can make fakes of anybody saying anything, right? So you say we have AI continues to develop, it's easier and easier to create fakes and deep fakes and all that. What kind of Twitter then do we want to see? Because if we see a politician having fake statements created by AI, so we have all these fakes, we have a website or internet that's just flooded with fakes. What we're going to have to revert to is like a blockchain-based internet, where the people's identities are vetted and their output is also vetted, and somehow there's a consensus over what is reality. Okay, so forget the multiverse. If we're going to have a multiverse in our own universe of different AI realities, we're going to have to all agree on one reality. This makes the most clear in politics. What did Trump actually say? Is his tweet, or the real tweet, the way to ensure that is on the blockchain? So that's just one aspect of how, and I've been talking about different aspects of AI and crypto interaction on previous shows of the Financial Tides. And one of them is just the general discourse of the general trends relating to hardware. So we have this huge need for compute that's getting exponentially bigger, and that is why we need like a distributed training systems, and those can only run on crypto. They cannot run on fiat, because fiat is stuck within national borders. They just doesn't have the scalability. Fiat itself doesn't have the scalability to make kind of distributed systems. And so this is an interesting poster here. Didn't get too many likes, but he's getting right to the heart of what Cellframe is proposing. The only arguments that I found to make sense around the subject of AI and crypto, a micropayment mechanism for people that contribute compute on distributed training networks. Open payment gateway for AI agents to act on the world autonomously. So this micropayment issue is related to AI and just the general trends and dynamics of the internet and data, right? If data is money, we need internet money, which is what crypto is, in order to actually create these systems and take them to a logical conclusion, right? If you want AI agents, my credit card is linked to my identity. All this banking system is extremely inefficient when it comes to agents going out there and spending money, right? And so if say you create what we want to create with Cellframe, what we've built the infrastructure to create is this, what this guy is exactly explaining, a micropayment mechanism for people to contribute compute on a decentralized training network. So as AI grows, the demand for compute grows. We're still limited by energy costs. We're limited by the cost of investment in these huge server farms, right? All that will push and push towards the Cellframe model of a distributed computing network, fog computing, right? And fog computing only works with crypto. You cannot, it's going to be impossible to create a fiat-based fog computing network because there's national boundaries. It's just not agile enough. The great thing about crypto and Cellframe in particular, right? It's fast enough to do all these microtransactions. It's going to be very difficult to do that on Bitcoin. So that's why I kind of like a two-pronged solution to our crypto environment, to have Bitcoin as the digital gold and Cell as the digital dollar, because Cell is extremely agile and can move around and enable these fog computing networks, right? AI agents can't use fiat at scale. Shout out Christian. This guy gets it, right? So even if you're not talking about fog computing networks, you're talking about AI agents working on the internet. They use fiat. Remember, there was this crazy story about like this mad AI who's been let loose on society and has a Twitter account, and people have been sending it crypto, right? So you can actually send crypto to an AI agent. A crypto can't get a credit card. Oh, sorry, an AI can't get a credit card. Um, so all right, so this is all the crazy stuff that's been going on. Let's check in on this on the chat here. I wonder if I can. How do I check in on my chat? Hmm? Am I still live? I have a replay on my chat that keeps showing like an older moment. All right, Diablo is in the chat. We've got Ksenia, my wife. Hello. Um, Stone Island. Diablo says when. Okay. Same way as people said AI wouldn't get to where it is in years. Yeah, that's a good point from Mr. Petri. Um, Mr. Petri says, yeah, so people are saying, oh, yeah, it's going to be decades before quantum computing is up. Well, people might have, no one really expected that ChatGPT would make its breakthrough the way it did. Um, that was completely out of left field. So quantum technology, I think, is so new. There's no way we can stick to our old timelines of like decades. Like if I think with you could 5 years ago with a straight face, you could say that quantum computing will take decades, maybe never. Okay, I don't think you can hear anyone out there today saying maybe never, right? And that's only been a couple of years. We went from maybe never to definitely soon, but maybe decades. Okay, so if we talk about the quantum timeline, I think, like I've said before, I think it's already too late. I think if you're just starting to build, if you're just starting to think about how to quantum proof yourself, you're behind because there are scalability issues related to it. There's transition issues related to it. You have to actually build something that can support post-quantum encryption. So definitely the skeptics out there are not having a good day. Quantum as a service market. Okay, now I understand what they're saying. This, our friend Warburn here. The quantum as a service market will be huge. Sell to be the chain link for quantum protection. Okay. Quantum service is interesting. Obviously, quantum, we've been talking about fog computing with Cellframe. We've been talking about getting into um, distributed networks for that, and selling, selling your compute. If people are able to purchase these chips from Google or whatever, then you could create arrays potentially, right? People could band together, and AI, quantum as a service would probably make a lot of sense. You don't need the cloud computer to be in your house; you pay for it. So yeah, so hackers could be doing that. Quantum protection as a service. Okay, Warburn. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean this is a big one. So we've talked about what will happen on Q Day, and I've gotten Dmitry to kind of weigh in on this a little bit. But so yeah, I mean, I think there will. One thing that people have brought up is what will happen. If quantum hacks become a reality in the crypto space. And one poster said, well, all that has to happen is for the capability to be shown, and then the panic will start, right? So we might not need a lot of hacks a lot of real hacks to really have that impact. And one thing that Dmitry was saying is that, well, in that market situation, if there's a panic in the markets, there will be a lot of people who want to buy, say, Ethereum is going down, down, down. Even if people are panicking post it's the quantum apocalypse, there will always be people who want to buy when there's blood in the water. And so at that moment, people will want to buy that degraded value Ethereum, but they'll also want it to be quantum protected. So that's when Cellframe's wrapping and bridging systems can come into play. So we have the Cellframe project QEVM, which is going to allow us to have wrapped Ethereum in your Cellframe wallet, protected by the post-quantum algorithms. Have those, and then still be able to function in the Ethereum net. So kind of have it both ways. You get to be in the walled garden, but still be able to operate on the Ethereum apps and stuff. So that might be a huge solution for people in a quantum scenario who want to retreat to safety, but still have those assets. Cool, cool. All right, this is good. Seems like the stream is working well. Hello, everyone. I guess you should mute. Oh, mute OBS. Oh, no. We're getting a reverb effect. Oh, thank you, Barnabas. I wonder how I do that. Reverb effect. All right. Well, we're going to work on the technological side of things here. Hopefully, it's not too bad and you guys can hear me. All right. So we've got a few minutes left here in my usual time. Let me know, shout out onto the chat. Let me know what else is up. So we'll go through some headlines here in the Financial Times the past couple of weeks. Oh, let's see. So this is the big front page headline. Interesting stuff going on in tech. While there's a general kind of elation and rise in tech stocks, we still have Warren Buffett selling his tech stocks, sold a huge amount of Apple and going into cash. Are we going to see finally a kind of retrenchment, a kind of major drawback of tech stocks in the near future? Are we going to see an overall decline in stocks? Those fears seems to have dissipated with the Trump bump. Stock market's going crazy, but we can still expect at some point a readjustment and tech stocks going down. And I think that finally, we're finally decoupling from tech stocks in the crypto field. Uh, One thing that BNB, CZ Binance, CZBNB is his name, has been talking about recently is he believes that strategic Bitcoin reserves will be formed by national governments. And so that's going to be another big bump for crypto. And I wonder if that's going to be enough to actually decouple um, Bitcoin and the crypto sphere from the tech stock market. I still think that that's important because even though tech stocks are doing good and Bitcoin's doing good at the same time, and it's good that it's going into more and more mainstream portfolios. But in general, I think we do want Bitcoin to be seen as a flight to safety rather than a risky asset. And if it starts being used as a reserve currency, that could be enough maybe to decouple it from tech stocks. Um, okay, let's see. Inside the new murky new AI chip economy. This is something I've been covering. There's how I say that Cellframe is really a hardware play. Um, so we have this huge boom in chip production. The companies are stretching themselves financially to create these giant data centers to compete with each other, right? Because there's like an all or nothing competition. There's a feeling among large tech companies as well as startup investors that one AI company will become dominant, and that you have to really shoot your shot right now, empty the clip, because you're either gonna win or you're gonna lose. And if you didn't go all out in the new chip AI economy, then you're a loser. So everyone's going all out and buying chips. And this is an article about how I've already covered this a little bit, but how the chips are being used to secure loans. So startup forms, it creates a new cloud service for AI training, and it gets that investment and that loan based on the chips themselves as collateral. So that's creating an even more bigger bubble of chips. And like I said, I love that for Cellframe because the bigger the chip bubble, the crazier the fallout will be, at which point fog computing and people can pick up those chips on the cheap and plug them into a decentralized network, right? So if once AI companies start collapsing, right now we see more investment surging and surging. In a few years, there'll be winners and losers. GPUs will go obsolete, and all these huge data centers that have been invested in, something will be needed to be done with them, and that's when a distributed fog computing network might come into play. Musk crypto investment about to pay off. I just brought this article in. It's pretty funny. It's very British, a very Chinese letter from Hangzhou, China. There's like a story about from 2,000 years ago. Uh, so someone's saying that Doge, maybe Musk will turn Doge into. He says Doge will be worth at least $10. So that if you don't want to talk about how people view crypto from the outside, from the normie world, this guy's like, oh, the doggy coin will be $10. Okay, well, maybe. I think the dog meme has lost steam personally. Okay, sorry. All right. So, Zhao CZ Binance is back in the news. Um, he's being sued by the FTX estate for certain shenanigans that happened in the lead up to the FTX collapse. So that's all playing out. I think the general narrative on CZ is that he's back. He's written his book, and he's talking extremely bullishly about Bitcoin. The Binance was able to pay a $4 billion penalty without without any major issues, apparently. So um, right now we're in the Trump era, even though things are still being cleaned up from the FTX case. Things are looking very bullish. Binance's token is looking very bullish. So CZ is back, baby. Here's again insight into kind of how mainstream media is looking at the Bitcoin's big bang moment. She says, this is a serious struggle for normies like me. Bitcoin is still not a proper currency. But the breakdown of this article for me is we have these people, financial analysts, trying to convince their clients who are old school boomers with a lot of money uh, to take it seriously. So we've got people. So this is what I was saying. How like not just companies and startups are becoming rejuvenated, kind of with the Trump bump, but also investment managers. So and now that Bitcoin's 100,000, it's impossible to ignore. So while they're still skeptical, right? So UBS says they're skeptical that crypto assets can make significant inroads in meaningful and disruptive real-world cases. Yet they are still trying to convince people. So people that you need to be investing your pension into Bitcoin. So yeah, they're saying that the vibes and the energy. Obviously, it's just in general a moment where the mainstream finance cannot ignore Bitcoin. It's definitely happening. This is just an article about something else going on in the cloud service business, but I just wanted to bring it up because just to show that the cloud service industry has soared to 561 billion in 2023 and will hit 825 billion next. So not only is it a bubble that's going to collapse and allow us to pick up the pieces, but it's also just a huge industry, right? The more money that's going into cloud, the better it is for Cellframe and future fog computing. Brazil's online gambling addiction threatens growth. Watch out, all our Brazilian friends out there. Diablo, I hope you're not gambling on internet sports. If you do, you do so responsibly. So more articles here about the Trump effect on Silicon Valley. This is a letter by the co-founder of LinkedIn, who is a major Democrat supporter, but he's talking about healing the rifts and coming together. He says how his colleagues were pro-Trump and that he now is also embracing this, embracing Trump and this new deregulatory movement. So he talks about how people in Silicon Valley are especially supportive of Trump for his pro-crypto posture. That would be fantastic. And he hopes that Trump doesn't just pump his favorite coins, but that he actually is going to be good for the industry. So that's just what's going on in Silicon Valley, folks. We've got everyone coming together into the post-Trump bump, even the hardcore Democrat donors like Reid Hoffman. All right, here we go. Now we've got more news from the AI world. Just interesting to note what's going on with funding. Seems to be a lack of VC funding. There seems to be a lack of startup energy. The big tech companies are the ones driving investment into AI. So it's a little bit of just in general, a different tech scene than we've seen in previous bubbles or previous rounds, previous markets. So here we have Amazon driving Anthropic as its flagship LLM, trying to get it involved in Amazon's hardware. But again, like I've been saying, with the big tech driving the AI industry, I think it's a great moment to think about what's next, how how competition will emerge in that sector. I think if we have enough deregulation, we will start to see distributed models like what Cellframe is planning to come up and start to compete with these projects that are backed by the big tech. And the big tech might bankrupt itself trying to fight this fight. So that's going to be great for the startup scene. Here we go. This guy's typical FT article trashing Bitcoin. Bitcoin strategic reserve ideas built on delusion. Apparently, here's a little culture for you. The famous banana and duct tape art piece, which was sold for 6.2 million, was purchased by the founder of Tron. That's great. I'm glad to see people participating in culture and philanthropy from the cryptosphere. I actually think this is a good piece. You know, people make fun of this piece, but it's iconic. It's extremely visually striking. It's funny. It comments on the art market while also being cool and fun and kind of beautiful. And it's very lighthearted and executed with a light hand. So I'm a big fan of the banana piece, and I congratulate the Tron founder in his acquisition. Well, folks, it's been about an hour here. I've going to start wrapping up. Thank you for everyone who joined me on the live stream. Hopefully, not everything is too messed up on the technical side, and we will be back next week with more from Financial Tides. So remember, quantum is coming. We are Cell. We are here. Big up to y'all. This is Gleb from the Cellframe content team. Over and out.